No, I just started the recording now.
Kind of wish you were recording, but okay.
You kind of wish I was recording.
I just like.
Because you wanted to see how much water you could fit into a cup.
Yes, that is exactly why. Also, the video is playing.
Yeah, the video has started.
Nice. Interesting. Okay.
So this time we're doing the video with an audience,
Audience.
and the washing machine is running.
Sounds like it.
So
No one's serious right now.
no one's serious right now. So my name is Jax for the videos. So you're gonna go with that, okay? Oh, well, you can call me Dad, or preferably you could call me Daddy.
No.
Like that.
Dad.
Okay.
Why do I call Mom Mommy, but Dad?
Because you're.
Because you know it breaks my heart, and you love to laugh at my broken heart.
I call Mom.
I think Dad is trying not to be very sad right now.
I'm trying not to be very sad
Yes.
because you guys refuse to call me Daddy.
I call
That's
Mom
okay.
Mom and Dad.
That's okay.
Because
I can't believe you videotaped that part.
Well, I mean, this is where the conversation went, so.
Yes, very much. It went less on the topic, more on random stuff that doesn't matter, that doesn't connect with this topic at all.
just because also I'm attacking plastic with my teeth.
Ooh,
Sam's
definitely
still-
take that out of your
Yeah,
mouth.
don't do that.
Definitely take that out of your mouth. Okay. So,
Sam looks like she has like her blanket. Like,
okay. So you just said somebody's name.
Yes.
Okay.
Sam.
Yes. This is an anonymous podcast.
Oh.
Or, well, I guess it's a
What have I
YouTube
done?
video. Okay. So, yeah, the podcast is not up and running yet. So, we're probably going to do a YouTube video like once a week. Not right now. Not right
And
now.
you
I don't
don't
want to
sound
see
like
The Rock's biceps right now.
No, that is not what I was
That's all I
showing
saw. There was a
Dude,
cartoon above it,
dude.
but,
It's a me.
dude.
It's a meme.
Okay,
It's
let me
a
see.
meme.
Let me see your meme. Let me see your meme.
Okay, I see.
Okay, so that's.
That's the meme.
I don't know if you can catch what it is in this.
Meme.
That's good to know. Why don't you just read it?
Because I was trying to show it. It's The Rock. And then there's Sans and Papyrus.
Yes.
Papyrus is the dad.
No,
And-
no,
No,
it's
They're brothers?
Also, no, it's the younger brother.
It-
Why?
Wait a second, Papyrus is the younger brother?
Yes.
So
I
this
thought
is kind of
Sans
like
was the younger
twins,
brother.
where one guy is massive and the other guy is really small.
No.
But Arnold Schwarzenegger was born first, so
No.
technically he's the older brother by like a couple of minutes.
No.
May I proceed?
Sans is older.
No.
I
By
do
a
not
few years.
understand at all.
Oh,
Give me that back.
I tried to. I thought you wanted me to read this to the people watching.
I was trying to show you it, but now that you're
Sans. Oh my God, is that? Apparently, I'm not allowed to. You'll have to live in
It's
suspense.
Not
not
make good
funny.
voices.
It's not funny if
We
you
should
like
delete
say it
this
out
video.
loud. Delete this video.
Why? I had fun with it.
We all did, but
Just
it doesn't work.
no.
Okay. All right. So
Anyways, on with the subject.
okay. So the subject.
We have to change it because I already said name and.
I'm just gonna have to. I'm just gonna have to edit it out. I don't think we're gonna bother.
You've learned to edit stuff out.
Not yet. Not yet. I haven't. And I've been told by several people.
I was gonna say congratulations, but I refrained that congratulations because I know how to edit
Well,
stuff.
I anticipate the
I know how to
revelation
edit
of
stuff
this
out.
of this congratulations coming very soon.
It's not coming
Well,
soon.
then
It's coming.
you
when
have to learn how to edit stuff out first. Now I'm gonna have to edit out for you because you don't know how to
You
do
will?
it. Yeah.
All right. I guess I don't have to learn it then.
You
Yeah,
do
you
have to learn
learn
it eventually.
Yeah, you have to eventually because I'm not doing it every single time.
All right.
Yeah,
So
please, no.
may I continue?
Yeah.
So we can watch John Wick 2?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Oh
then
my
we
gosh, I
see-
got
Wait,
Messenger
wait,
coming in
can-
like crazy.
Can it be so we can sleep because I'm tired and
Oh, I'm falling asleep.
I want to watch John Wick too.
Yeah.
But I'm tired.
Yeah.
sleeping.
Is that why you keep talking instead of letting the video go every time we say okay?
Sure.
All right. Okay, that's just that's just distracting. Okay. All right. So the reason why I wanted to have the kids here is because, well, I have the kids, and this subject is about hope. I talk to a lot of folks, especially I talk to a lot of women who are in difficult relationships. And then I talk to a lot of men whose relationships have like fallen apart and they didn't see it coming at all. So I want to talk a little bit about hope. So there's going to be a video coming up that is a message directly about talking to your partner about behaviors that they want to see change because the behaviors make them uncomfortable or unhappy. At this point right now, we're just talking about identifying how we feel, identifying the responses that we have. In our last video, we talked about the space between stimulus and response. Do you guys remember that? Can anybody tell me what that's about? Do you know what the stimulus is?
No. I remember what response is.
Okay, that's cool. The stimulus is the thing that happens that makes you want to respond. It affects your emotions. You get sad or you get angry. So what is the response?
Pretty sure it's like how you respond.
It's how you respond. It's how you respond to the stimulus. So how do we make a space between the thing that that happens and the response that we give? How do we make that space open up? Do you remember?
I feel like it was something like forgiving people about it, or not doing, or thinking about not responding in the certain way you want to respond.
Yes, that exactly. It's taking a moment to think about how you want to respond before you actually respond. Now, there's sometimes that we get hit with something, especially sad. When something makes us sad, we get hit really, really hard. And we get really, we really want to respond to that. In that situation, that's where you utilize the tools that you will learn, whether you're in therapy or maybe this will help you uncover some tools. Can somebody give me a tool that you use when something hits you really hard emotionally? Yeah.
Breathe and take 10 minutes.
Breathe and take 10 minutes. Yeah. Well, Daddy, when Dad is particularly angry, I do that. I stop what I'm doing, and I go and I smoke. That's right. I go and I smoke, and by the time I come back, how am I?
Probably like more calm, and then you like talk about it or something like that.
Yeah. So I calm down, and then I communicate. I communicate what's upset me. In that 10 minutes, I unplug. I'll go to Twitter or I'll go to Facebook and I'll unplug. Sometimes I'll do my messaging with people who are talking to me, but I'll take myself out of the situation that's causing this stimulus so that when I respond, I'm not creating a hostile environment for my family. Go ahead.
Stop smoking.
Stop smoking. Not happening. Smoking saves lives. You ever heard that? You ever heard that phrase? The life you save may be your own.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think about that. My grandfather used to say that all the time. So, anyways, that's how I feel about cigarettes. Like, I'll quit when the stress calms down a little bit. But that's also why we create that space. So anyway, so now I want to get into hope a little bit. So you've uncovered some stuff that Well, I'll just tell you a story. I had a chance meeting with somebody, and we were talking about the things that had happened in our relationship that caused problems. And they said to me that, for us to overcome the issues, it would be impossible. And my response was, when have we ever not done the impossible? And if you think about it, like, maybe you don't understand this, but when you guys were small, all five, well, four of you were in diapers at the same time, which is a lot of money, and it's a lot of work. So I did not make a ton of money, but we made like 30 grand a year, and we didn't have any kind of support coming in from the government or anything like that. And you guys never missed a meal. You never lost electricity. You never went a day without having fun, without laughing, without running around, without doing something that, if we were not doing the impossible, like, you would probably not have found that happiness. But we were able to pull it off. So that's, whatever. So you have problems with somebody or something, and you feel like it's impossible to overcome it, and that happens inside of us too. There's a word, I study the Bible a bit, and there's a word that I adore. The English word is reconciliation, and once you like rip it apart to do what they call an exegesis, once you get to what that word really means, that word actually means that reconciliation is an exchange of hostility for peace, and that peace brings you together, and that all starts inside of us. In order to get to that place, we have to find ways to deal with the things that are causing us issues. So let's say you're angry, and you are constantly angry. You're constantly having to process that anger. And something that happens when you do that is, when you're constantly dealing with your anger, there's a point where you may never really respond to what's causing you to be angry. All that frustration, all that disappointment, all that confusion, maybe embarrassment, whatever it is, all those things come together and they create anger. Anger doesn't just happen. It's a bunch of little emotions that come together. And if you do not unravel that and clear up that space, it's going to explode. You remember we talked about geysers? Yeah.
Volcano.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So we talked about how a volcano, particularly Yellowstone Park. And Yellowstone Park is a super, what's that word? It's on the tip of my brain. Bill Bryson wrote about it. I can't remember. Super something. Cordova, something like that.
Don't remember something like that.
I don't recall. Anyways, it's a super volcano, but it's not shaped like a pyramid. It's actually like a very large flat surface. Yeah.
The term is at the tip of your tongue, not the tip of your brain.
See, I always like to say tip of my brain because it's got to come from my brain before it can to my tongue. So anyways, so caldera. It's a super caldera.
I don't know what that is.
It's a Spanish word. I don't know what it means. But either way, that's what it is. So we talked about Old Faithful and how Old Faithful releases steam so that the whole thing doesn't blow. And Yellowstone Park has thousands and thousands of geysers. And we were talking about how you need a release for that anger because you're basically a volcano. And so processing allows for you to create geysers to release that pressure. So anyways, so in order to find hope, I would like to bring out what?
What's the word?
Caldera, Caldero. Caldero. So anyway, so as far as hope goes for us individually and personally, I like to point out the fact that it's about identifying the hostility that's inside of you. Now, for some of us,
Wow.
was I right?
It's cauldron.
Cauldron. It means cauldron. Okay. Thank you. So now, with us individually as human beings, we deal with self-esteem issues. Am I pretty enough? Am I handsome enough? Am I confident enough? Am I tough enough? They go into the masculinity thing.
Am I beautiful?
Am I beautiful? Am I strong enough? Like, she's in hysterics. You have things in your mind that you attack yourself with. You need to lose weight. You're eating too much. You're not exercising enough. You suck at your job. You have a difficult time making friends. You're socially awkward. Whatever those things are, they're all things that are in our minds that make it so that we're losing the awesome freaking person that we are. So these thoughts come into our minds and they attack us. So for me, what I encourage people, I constantly try to find the awesomeness in other people. As far as awesomeness in me, not so much, because I'm very familiar with my faults. And I'm very familiar with the consequences that I've had to endure because of the faults that I've had. So where my hope comes from is knowing that I can find something in other people to build them up helps me to see the best in me as well. I don't want anything in return from other people when I'm kind to them, but I do love seeing that in spite of the attacks in my mind about what a piece of crap I am, the facts say otherwise. So for hope for me, it's kindness. Hope for me is thoughtfulness. So I put people first, which is not a healthy thing because self-care is so important. But at the same time, I do benefit from that because it helps me to identify a stronger self-image than I would have otherwise. So that's one thing. The other thing is when somebody else takes away your hope. Now, we had, what's that? Like in John Wick, which is what actually made me think of that. John Wick is captured by the Russians, and the Russians are going to execute him. And so finally he decides that he's going to show some real emotion. And when he does, he's so angry. And the thing that he was so angry about was his wife had passed away, and the last thing that she gave him was this dog. And he said, "You took away my ability." Huh?
Son, actually.
Don't correct me right now. Your son took away my ability to grieve without being alone. And that was where his hope. Grieve is processing sadness. So when we're dealing with hope, other people can take that hope away from us. We have a hard enough time having hope for ourselves, knowing how much of a piece of crap we can be sometimes. So other people reminding us that we can be pieces of crap, it doesn't help. It really doesn't. So frankly, the only people that I allow to affect me emotionally, and that can affect my hope, are people that I have given the power to love me. If you don't love me, you can't hurt me. You can try, but you can't, because I've identified that that has to happen in order for me to value their opinion. I'll value their life, I'll value their wisdom, but as far as their opinions about me or the people I love, I have that choice. I exercise that choice. So if somebody criticizes me, I always recognize that it is coming from a place of kindness and love, not a place of accusation and manipulation. So if you have someone in your life that is taking away your hope, then you have two avenues you can take. One, you can flee from it. Two, you can try to overcome it. Now, that is something that as we do these videos, we'll talk about power and control and help you to identify what is abusive relationships and what is immature relationships or not thoughtful relationships that are affecting our lives. Those are all things that we're going to get into. Now, giving hope to somebody comes, I think, from being able to receive hope from somebody. So if you're in a relationship where there's power and control happening, then that power and control will stifle your ability to have hope to overcome the things that are going on inside of you, as well as the dynamics of receiving their negativity in your soul, really. So I want to let you know that if you're in a situation where maybe you're the bad guy. When I started talking about power and control, I was amazed by how many women said, I am the problem with that. Kayla, close that door, baby. Oh, I just dropped her name.
I can't actually get, so I can edit some parts out, like at the beginning, like to a certain point.
We'll talk about it afterwards. We'll talk about it afterwards. Don't worry about it. Do not stress about it. You and I together can figure out everything. Sit down. We're talking about hope.
I have a weird chin.
So many women, they have admitted to me that they are the power and control person in their relationships. Now, these power and control dynamics are not gender specific. If you go to a battered women's shelter, the battered women's part is the part that is going to exclude the men that need help also. And with masculinity, the way that it is, men rarely ever ask for help. So it's up to the rest of us to be approachable enough when somebody needs to address an abusive relationship. There needs to be somebody that they can turn to talk to. If you don't have somebody like that, you can always send me a message. I'm always available. I talk to a lot of people about this, and that is kind of my mission, is to help people that need it. Whether it be for emotional support or it's for abusive relationships, both perpetrators and victims and survivors. I talk to them all. I am them all. I'm all of that. So I can understand where people are coming from all the angles, except for with certain types of abuse. I have no experience with that. So. And you can reach out to me and we'll figure that out together. So anyhow, if somebody is taking away your hope, if somebody is not building you up, and that, give them their moments. People need a break. People have bad moments. But it's when it becomes the norm in your life that hope starts being taken away and taken away and taken away. We're going to do a series about losing the voice and how we are intimidated and we lose our ability to communicate anymore, to defend ourselves, to protect ourselves to other people. Now, all of that, this is a great thing. All of that can change. If you are a victim who does not have hope, that will change. If you are a controller, that can change. Even a narcissist, which we'll do a video about that too, even a narcissist is capable of change. It requires focus, it requires motivation, and it requires a heart that wants change. And most people, like almost all people, are not narcissists, and they can overcome it. They also have medication and things of that nature, but I'm not going to speak to that at all. Find a psychiatrist. So what I would like to just say is, if you're in a difficult situation, find that person that gives you kindness. But find that person that gives you kindness and doesn't want anything back for it. If they want something from you, they're bartering your affection. They're making a trade. I'll be kind to you if you give me something. That's not love. That's not really kindness. That's trade. Love does not. It's not focused on ourselves. It's focused on who we're giving the love to. And if we can find a way to love ourselves, then we don't need other people to love us. Now, granted, we need hugs and stuff like that. Like, we all need that.
Yeah.
My hugger. You're actually becoming a hugger again, too. Cheers to you. This is water.
I know that's water.
I was telling the audience because they're probably thinking,
I poured all the water.
so did I. No, you didn't pour.
water
Sidebar. Stop. Stop. We're going to get distracted again. So, we do need affection. And the thing is that if you're looking for affection to come from just anybody, then they're more than likely going to become a different type of control for you. And you will more than likely have to cling to them for the peace and the emotional stability that you desperately may be looking for. So find hope in your friends. Find hope in the people you trust. Find hope at a shelter or with a psychiatrist or therapist, whatever. Find that person that can support you, and you will find that your hope will come from you. Your hope isn't coming from those other people. The peace that your mind and your heart needs is what's coming from other people. And then you can find yourself. And when you find yourself, you will have hope, because you'll start seeing that you are an amazing, incredible human being that is empowered to take on anything that you put your mind to. And you will see that people will just start gravitating to you, that are the people that are going to be your biggest supporters and your biggest allies, because sometimes life is friggin' war, and you need your friends and you need your family for that. And if you got nobody, reach out to me. I'm happy to be somebody for you, and I don't want anything from you in exchange for that. So this message is about hope, and I just want to make sure that it's communicated that no matter how dark your life may seem, there is a light. And that light is going to come from you first. And then you'll start receiving the light from other people. And you're going to end up walking in bright, beautiful sky days. So that's hope. Have a good one.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Oh, go ahead. You said
Moral of the story.
What?
Hope is needed.
hope is needed. Wait, not in the video. Go ahead.
I was asking a question.
Go ahead.
Don't look in
What if they're you were completely a bad person
So what if you were,
and you didn't want to change?
if you were a completely bad person, which you're not. If you are a completely bad person and you don't want to change, then ultimately, I guarantee you, you're going to lose everything. It's not worth it. It's really not worth it. You may have a job, you may have a nice house, you may have all of the things that you think that you want, but it will cost you the things that you need. We all need somebody. We all need positive, healthy relationships. So if you are a bad person who does not want to change, and can I change the words to that a little bit? Is that okay?
Sure.
Thank you. If you're a person who does bad things, or thinks bad things, that is not who you are. It's what you think and it's what you do. Only you really know who you are. And I would say that most of us, if we looked deep inside, and maybe even not that deep, we have a conscience, and that conscience is telling us who we would want to be. And unless you're a sociopath or whatever it is, unless your brain just isn't designed that way, you're going to want to change eventually, so why wait? Is that a fair answer? That's a great question. I love how smart you are. Have a good one.